Good morning. It is August 18th, 2024. I'm titling this episode God Has Wrecked Me This Week. Um, in a good way though. Okay, so two huge things happened this week. All right. So first, I want to talk about my course and my book. So my course, Freedom from the Effects of Domestic Violence, I actually created back in 2020 during COVID. Um, and then at that time, God told me, um, at some point, Tina, you're going to write a book that goes along with this course. So then fast forward to last year, towards the end of summer, actually about this time last year, um, God said, Tina, now's the time to write the book. Okay. So, so I did. I took weeks away in October to finish it up. I already had the outline and a few of the things done, but I knew with my busy job, if I didn't take time away, I was never going to get it done. So I took that intentional time away 2 weeks in October um, to finish that book. Okay. And also back in 2020, um, God told me that He was going to use this material in this book and release it into the world. Um, and that this is what He wants to use to help women get freedom from the effects of domestic violence, right? Okay. Um, so I think I mentioned last week, Passage got a grant to purchase some of my books and workbooks. And so I am working with Jane to start a group of and help women go through the book together. So we're doing that on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock in person down in Madison at my church. Um, so she came on Wednesday and shared a bit of her story. Um, she had said, she since ever since she had taken over being executive director at Safe Passage, she had been praying for a faith-based option for for women. And she said when she saw my book and workbook, she said God told her that this is what you've been praying for. This is what I'm going to release into the world to help women get freedom from the effects of domestic violence. Um, I was like crying when she said that, and it just hit my spirit so hard because number one, because this was Jane, right? She's the one that gave me the opportunity at Safe Passage. Um, she's the one that created a job for me, right? Um, so that coming from her was huge. But the other thing that was huge about it is that's what God told me 4 years ago, that this was the material He was going to release into the world. Um, so when she said that, it was not only high praises and honor from her, but it confirmed what the Lord had already told me 4 years ago. So, um, so after the evening, I came home and I had to call Becca because her little girl was sick. She couldn't come. But so Becca and I talked for a couple hours. Um, but so I was crying when I was talking to Becca. Um, she asked me, so is your vision clearer now? And I said, no, it's actually less clear now because, and she mentioned, we've always talked about this is going to be huge. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think our huge is the same thing as God's huge. So Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to see what the Lord's going to do, and I'm so glad I said yes. This is key. When God calls us to do something, we just need to say yes, and we need to do it. Um and I told her, I said, who knows if 50 years ago he hadn't told somebody else to do this, and they said no. God's will be done, whether we say yes or no, right? But if you truly are a son or a daughter of the King, my best advice is say yes. Say yes. So then Thursday at work, all throughout the day, I was weepy and sobby and oh my gosh, this just hit my spirit so hard. Okay, so then the second thing, we had our Smith family reunion. So I have a brother in Colorado. So my biological father, this is this side of the family. My biological father, um, who I did not grow up with. Um, I grew up with the Smith side of the family, so I would go visit my grandparents every summer when I was a kid for a week or two. I'd always go to the Smith family reunions as a kid. We haven't had them in a long time. We were going to try and start having them again right before COVID hit. So then we haven't had one again since then. But we had one this year. My cousin Sarah had it at her house, um, which was great. But my brother came in from Colorado, and my Aunt Phyllis and Henry came in from Colorado. Oh my gosh, it was so good to see everybody. So good to see everybody. Um, Learned a lot this weekend. Learned a lot. Um, yeah. So it was so nice to be with people. But I was just really feeling overwhelmed yesterday. Um, Heard a lot of things, family history that, you know, wasn't necessarily good. Um, some cousins of my uncle, my aunt and uncle, both died last year, which I had just found that out. So that made me incredibly sad. Um, because always used to have the reunions up in Columbus at their house, and now they're not even here anymore. Because I was thinking all week, I wonder if they're going to be there, right? No, no, they're not. Um, Learned a whole lot about some mental health issues in the family and some um, addiction problems in the family. Um, I got to reconnect and spend a lot of time with um, Michelle. Um, I just adore her. She is amazing. She seems to be having a good life. I feel like I was kind of, it was really heavy on my heart. Are these people having a good life? Because clearly childhood was not for a whole lot of us. But I do have to report that my brother, um, he had a good he had a good childhood. He had a good childhood. So that's awesome. Um, I want to talk about half siblings. Half siblings. I don't view any of my siblings as half siblings. So my mom and my biological father had me. So I really don't have any full siblings, right? So my brother in Colorado was my biological father's son. And then I have my sister and my twin brothers who my mom and my adoptive father had together. So I don't have any full siblings, but I have never, ever, ever considered my siblings half siblings. They're my siblings. They're my brothers and sister. Um, yeah. So that's how I feel about that. Um, okay, so Evan couldn't come. I said last week I was pretty salty about that. Still pretty salty about that, but whatever. But Owen and Justin and Monica came. So they had never met any of the family except my Aunt Phyllis. They did meet my Aunt Phyllis. And Owen did mention he did remember that. Once he saw them, he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Okay. But Owen takes after the Smith side of the family. I do too. So my sister takes after my adoptive father, and so does Joey. Adam takes after the Kester side of the family, which is my mom's side of the family. Um, Evan looks like his dad for sure. Justin, I feel like takes after the Kester side of the family, but I have always said Owen takes after the Smith side of the family. And Jeff was like, "Oh, no, 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 he doesn't." So I'm like, I could not wait for my family to meet Owen, especially because he takes after the Smith side of the family. Yeah, yeah, everybody saw it right away. Oh my gosh, he looks like Ken. That's my biological father. He is the spitting image of Ken. And I overheard Sarah and Mahira, who is my brother, talking about Owen, and how much he like Mahira was like, "Oh my gosh, he looks so much like dad." And Sarah was like, "Yeah, he's even got the same vibe." Like they were like just blown away. Um, so when I was leaving, I told Mahira, I said, I always told Jeff he takes after the Smith side. And he's like, "No, no, no." And Mahira's like, "Oh, the genes are strong with that one." So that was so fun. That was so fun. So, but it was just incredibly emotionally charged. Um, and so coming out of Wednesday with Jane's, you know, story and word to me, I was already weepy. So coming into this weekend and I went up Friday, I was able to pick up Mahira at the airport in Columbus. Um, and so we had great chat in the car, and then we all went out to get dinner together Friday. I spent the night with my aunt and uncle, and then all day yesterday we were at Sarah's house for the reunion, and just so much. I learned so much, and yeah, being weepy already, I just was more weepy and just fighting crying a lot, especially yesterday. And I was like, I just had to go at one point, and cried halfway home. But anyway, so it's all good, right? It's a good thing. And I'm getting weepy now. So I don't know what the Lord is doing. I feel like He's up to something because, yeah, because I still can't quit crying. So I'm going to cut it short today because I think if I keep going, I'm just going to burst into tears and I don't want to do that. So, um, yeah, so family family's important. Words from the Lord are important. Um, yeah, and family's family, you know? Family is family. I'm gonna leave it there. I love you guys. Love your family. I love mine for sure. I love the Smith side of my family. I'm really grateful that my mom allowed me to maintain a relationship and have a relationship with that side of my family throughout my life growing up. Yeah, I really, 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 really love them all. Okay, be blessed. Love you.